Hello and welcome to the latest Dressing Room Debrief, the latest and the last of the 2024-25 season, where I am pleased and happy to announce that Chelsea have become the only club to complete the full set. Yes, they have won all of the trophies there are to win in Europe, and which no other club has done. So they've got bragging rights there. No matter what anyone says, I don't care if they say this is Mickey Mouse, it's a shambles, they shouldn't be celebrating it. That's not the point. Yeah, it might be a weak cup. Yeah, you might have to have a shit season to be in it. And as far as the big six clubs concerned, but you got to remember that Chelsea qualified for the Europa League and are only knocked out into the Conference League because Man United won the FA Cup against Man City. And look how that season's turned out for Man United. So. They can say all they want. Don't care. Chelsea are the only club with all to win all of the European competitions, and Arsenal won nothing this season. And we finished in the top four. So top four Champions League, not even the fifth spot, which was added by the way. Top four and a trophy. I think that's a successful season. I thought that first 45 minutes was an absolute shambles. I thought Maresca got his selection wrong. I think he sort of knew that as well. He had to sort of give. It's a tough one, really, because I feel like he probably felt like he had to give some of the players that played in the early stages of the tournaments and game time in it. But if he'd played that team he sort of brought on in the second half from the start, which is the likes of Reece James, our strongest team, then I think we would have beaten. But then again, as a fan, being there behind that goal in that end when we scored the equaliser and then when Jackson scored, um, I wouldn't have swapped that for anything. So, I'm saying this, it would have been nice to have a comfortable win, but I think them sort of things make it even better, especially in the first half when Betis were all over us. Probably should have scored another one. Great save from Jorgensen. They had one that missed. I think they cut it back to someone. He booted it over. They should have scored there. And we didn't really have any chances in the first half. And then sort of second half, we sort of just stepped up a gear. Cole Palmer proving, like I said in my last episode, I was asking to see a bit of that magic, and I saw it. He literally, within space of a minute, turned the game on its head. I just don't know. I still don't know to this day how he got around that player for Jackson's goal, Jackson's little shoulder. Don't know how much he knew about that because he definitely fluffed up the header. And yeah, it was great. And you've got to give Maresca his flowers, I suppose, in his first season. He's got Champions League qualification. I know I've been a critic of his, and he's got the trophy. He's won the Conference League, and he's cemented a place in Chelsea's history by being that guy that won the last remaining European trophy that the club hadn't won before. And yeah, credit where credit's due. He changed the game. I know you can argue that he should have played that team to begin with, so it's not really a positive, but he brought on Reece James. It really frustrates me that inverted wing back when Malo Gusto plays there because he's played them a number of times now and it hasn't worked once. So I think he's kind of thrown him under the bus a bit there because he's not that sort of right back. He can't play that inverted role. But yeah, once he brought James on, it sort of shored it up for me. Sancho did well with his goal. That was classic Sancho cutting in, curling it into the far corner. And that's what he did at the start, which annoyed me because I feel like not just him, a lot of our wingers, a lot of our attacking players, and like Palmer said, he said it, and I quote, sick of passing it backwards and sideways. And that's why I feel like, I don't know what it is, but it feels like that there's this fear of losing the ball amongst our attacking players. And they sort of, instead of beating a player or doing what Sancho's good at, cutting in, having a shot, which he scored a number of those important goals like that this season, like he did in the final. Um, and I just feel like them players aren't doing it. So that's nice to see that. And I just hope next year our attackers go in with it with a bit more confidence. And yeah, now it's great because we've won trophies, which is great for the squad, great for that first taste for a lot of them. They're young now; they've experienced that win. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, by the way, you don't hear much about their price tags anymore. That's because they've been class this season. And I think they're going to push on. You see Fernandez getting more goals and assists this season. And I think he's going to go from strength to strength. So is Casado. So is Cucurella. I think we just still need, if I'm being brutally honest, goalkeeper, an experienced centre half, a world-class winger, the likes of my personal favourite, and it's probably not going to happen, would be Rodrigo from Real Madrid, and a striker. And it's good to see that we've we're on the verge of signing that because I really rate him. I think he's physical. I think he suits the profile of what's needed to be a successful Chelsea striker. I think when you look back in the past or the recent past, we haven't had that apart from Drogba and Costa. And I think, he's got that aggression, he's got that hold up play, he's got that sort of single mindedness to shoot on sight. And I think we need a striker like that. So I think that's a really positive signing. And yeah, hopefully we get a few more signings for next season and hopefully we can compete for the big trophies.